One of the themes that has been coming up recently is unconditionally. Now, many of us have heard about unconditional love, but in this video, we're going to be looking at affording that unconditional giving in all aspects of our life and what that actually looks like, and the challenges that arise from it and the benefits that we can gain from it as well. So without further ado, let's get into it. Hi and welcome to Oakley Door. For those of you that know me, my name is Claratio. For those that are returning subscribers, thank you. And unconditionally, what does that actually mean to you? Most people instantly go to unconditional love because that has been very mainstream for many years now. But it's really about what we're offering people and how we're offering it, those interactions with our fellow humans. And are those interactions unconditional, or do they have conditions attached to them? And it's interesting as we walk through life, and we're all guilty of it. It are the times when we are unable to give unconditionally, and those times are because our own reserves are low to be able to give unconditionally, whether that is love, whether that is time, whether that is space even. We have to be in a place within ourselves where we are full to overflowing. We can give from those reserves without any attachment. And most people, I'm going to say most because there are those with personality disorders that, that do intentionally give conditionally, but most people don't. They don't sit there, oh, well, I'll give, if I give them, they need to give me X, Y, Z. But what happens is we give from a place of lack. And when we give from a place of lack, we then have expectations to what we should be receiving. And that is conditional. Whether it happens within the conscious mind or the subconscious mind, that is conditional. That is not unconditional. And perfect phrases that know when you're doing this so that you can be alert consciously to doing this, because as I said, we all do it on some level, is I'm giving them their last chance. That's a classic. Their last chance. Why are you giving them their last chance? This is their journey. And yes, we do need to have discernment with our interactions. Do we want to give? That's the first question. Do we want to give to that person? Do we want that person as part of our circle? Do we want that person? Do we want energetic exchanges with that person? And these are really hard questions, especially when it comes to family. Do we want energetic exchanges with that person? And if you do have family members, which most of us do, because there's a level of dysfunction in most families because we are learning, not because families are innately bad. No, families are very important. That family unit can offer us so much, but we do also need to take ownership of the fact that there is and still continues to be and will continue to be for some time levels of dysfunction within family units. And one way we can actually start to curb this is to start recognizing when we ourselves are giving conditionally or unconditionally. Everybody deserves a chance, and sometimes that chance may be multiple times because it takes them longer to learn, it takes them longer to heal, it takes them longer to understand, it takes them longer to reprogram the mind and make the changes that are needed. We're not put on this planet to be judge and jury. We're put on this planet to grow, to expand, to evolve, to excel. And in doing so, we act as a beacon of light so others can make that choice from their free will and be inspired. It's not about leaders and followers. It's about inspiring each other to become the best versions of ourselves. And we can't become the best versions of ourselves if we give with conditions. As I said, that giving can come in many, many different forms. Love is the most common one. And what most people miss when it comes to love is people can only love us as much as we are loving ourselves. So are we doing the work that is needed so that we are offering unconditional love to ourselves, even those aspects that we would rather not have? Because we often have expectations of other people, and those expectations exist because the needs within ourselves are not being met. We are not meeting ourselves. We are not providing for ourselves. We are not honoring ourselves. We are depleting ourselves, and thus we then want to take back what we've given to somebody else so that we can feel like we have more energy, like we have more. Oh, well, I spent X, Y, and Z amount of time with them, and I'm in a bad place now, and nobody was there for me. I'm never going to bother with them again. It's challenging. It is challenging. And as I said, this is where discernment comes in, because neither do we keep giving to somebody who never reciprocates, and thus are clearly showing us that there is little to no respect for us. That's why discernment plays a massive role. And this is why we're still learning to dance with this. Because it's about finding that balance. And no, we're not going to get it right every time. But on those occasions where we don't get it right, let's apply enough self-love, thus building our self-confidence, that we can actually take ownership of those times when we weren't able to meet our own needs, or we weren't able to give unconditionally, or we gave and then we wanted it back, like what we call Indian giving. That's a phrase we use in the UK. I don't know if that's a phrase that gets used anywhere else, but that Indian giving, And it's, I suppose, if we actually kind of dug into the history of that phrase, it's very derogatory to the Native Americans. And I apologise, it's not meant like that, but it's a phrase that is commonly used and people understand in England. I'm not going to get into the politics of where it came from and the use of it. I think we're going a little bit mad with the whole appropriation terminology that we use. Yes, do we need to be mindful of it? Absolutely. Would we intentionally hurt another being? Hopefully not. I mean, there are some that still exist out there, but it's not my intention to be derogatory in that sense using that phrase. Do we give to ourselves unconditionally? When we're tired, do we give ourselves the space to rest? When we're hungry, do we take the time to prepare a meal? When we're thirsty, do we take the time to give ourselves water? Are we caring for ourselves? Are we nurturing ourselves? And as we do that, we have a greater capacity to nurture others unconditionally because we're filling our cup. We're not lacking in any way, shape or form. And this is why self-care, self-love, self-nurturing is so important. It's not about becoming a selfish person. It's about having the deeper understanding that if we meet all our own needs, we will not need to take from another. We can give from the overflow. And as we do that, we create a ripple effect globally. First of all, within our nucleus, then in our close communities, then in the wider community, then in the regions, and then in the countries, and then on a global scale. We will be leading by example. We're not leading so that we can have followers. We're just leading by example to inspire, to encourage another, to take a breath, step back and think, well, they seem to just be able to kind of fly through that. I'm finding that really tricky. I'm finding that very stressful. I get irritated by X, Y, and Z people because I keep trying to do things with them, but they don't make the changes. It's not about forcing change on others. It's about effecting change through leadership of an inspirational kind. Leading by example. Having the ability to walk through life with very little stress, very little strain. You're in that flow, and other people, well, how are they doing that? Let me just take a breath. Let me observe them. And in doing so, they become inspired to create their own changes. So, next time you think about unconditional, think about the deeper implications. Think about first yourself, not from a selfish perspective, but are you meeting your own needs? Are you filling your cup? And so when you interact with another, everything that you give unconditionally, whether that's your time, your knowledge, your humor, your support. There are no expectations of what you may get back or what that person will do with that. I hope this video has been of help. If you have enjoyed it, then please press that like button. If you've not yet subscribed, please subscribe. It helps grow our little community that we have going on here. When you do press the subscribe button, I advise you to also press the notification bell so that you get notified when a new video goes live. And till the next time, beautiful souls, take care.